Hi Libra, I'm Jenny Fitterer and welcome to your January Tarotscope. I've got a single card for you for the month of January. The first 2/3 of the month is Capricorn season and then we will be rolling into Aquarius season. So the card for you this month is the Judgment card, Major Arcana, so here it comes. So we see here in this card, we've got kind of this big blue background. Looks like there's like a figure, like a Jesus sort of figure, and a few other people, but they're kind of obscured by these butterflies that are in the foreground. There's this angel blowing a trumpet, and here we can see these just sort of faces in profile, just a little bit there. Down here we've got like a clam or a pearl oyster or something that's going on right there, and that's what the card is. So we are going to see what the Judgment card has for you today. Okay, here we go, Libra. Judgment. The day of judgment is today. The image on the card is a traditional depiction of the Day of Judgment, somewhat modified by the butterflies and the two faces in profile. An angel is sounding the trumpet, the graves are opening up, and the dead are being brought back to life. In the foreground, we see an open shell sketched in black ink, revealing its pearl. This detail represents the message of the card. Powerful forces are being set in motion, latent energies are being awakened, processes of change and transformation are imminent. This card challenges you to take a closer look at and come to terms with those extreme aspects of your life, desires and fears, as well as the habit of putting the blame on yourself and others, will have to be dealt with over and again until the mistakes of your past have been put to rights and your future path freed from old obstacles. Only then will rebirth be more than a mere repetition of the old. The story of Judgment Day is not just a religious myth. It is to be taken literally. The Day of Judgment is today. Each and every morning we are faced with the task of becoming wide awake and gathering all of our energy so that we can really bury all that is dead and gone and prepare ourselves for the birth of what is yet to come. If we can accept every single day as a gift, we will gain in confidence and be able to welcome life's challenges. Desires and fears will always exist, but we can learn to deal with them appropriately. We will become receptive to the colorful spectacle that is life, which is inviting our participation. Practical advice. Let go of what has been. Say your goodbyes and make your peace with the past. Learn to forgive without forgetting. Everything is important. You have made your choices in the past and now you are free to choose anew and to decide which road you want to take. Okay, Libra. So this card is kind of an interesting one for you, I'm feeling, because the Day of Judgment, it's kind of talking about the Day of Judgment is really, biblically, it's this whole concept of like, the trumpets sound, the graves open up, and everybody is brought forth to be sort of judged accordingly and either brought into heaven or not. And so it's this sort of like this big reckoning, where everything's going to come up and be weighed in the balance, and then a new life is going to start. So we can think about the Day of Judgment through the very like judgment, you're going to be judged for everything that happens to you, or we can think about it as what it is often really seen as, which is a resurrection and a new beginning. So the resurrection of those who have died and kind of coming up, this kind of parallel to when you wake up every morning from that sleep. It's a resurrection from that unconscious nighttime into a new day. You are free every day to choose new choices. So that's definitely one aspect of this card of judgment. There's another card I'm kind of feeling with you, Libra, and it's kind of the more colloquial way that we think of judgment, and often in relationship to other people, which is being judgmental of ourselves or of others. And judgment is always tied to justice. That's the whole point. Judgment is here to discern what is just, who has transgressed justice, who has not. So the root of judgment is such a good and beautiful key idea, which generally speaking, Libra, is a huge archetype for you, is justice, balance, fairness, harmony. And it's all harmony that should be harmony rooted in justice rather than harmony rooted in peace, because peace can only be occurred if things are justly kept. And we can often, kind of, if we just crave harmony and peace, that's a false peace that's built on injustice, it's not really going to last. So certainly justice is the core of that harmony. But we can so have this tendency in the pursuit of justice and in the pursuit of trying to create fairness, to be hyper judgmental, to both on yourself and to others, to be kind of keeping the logbook of every time your partner's messed up, or keeping the logbook against yourself of, oh my God, I can't believe this. Now I have to be atoning for this. Or just like, because you feel guilt or shame over something, that really contracts you, and then you don't go out into the world, or you don't do as much as you could because you are kind of in that shame cycle. So there's definitely that I'm sort of feeling into this, that might be something that you sort of struggle with, or that you're working to kind of overcome. And so this whole it's this weird paradox of justice without like the punishment side of judgment, or like the huge guilt atonement cycle, that, I mean, in a lot of ways can be kind of a holdover from perhaps like the Judeo-Christian culture that we kind of have here a lot in the West, or at least that's where a lot of our kind of systems have come from, is this idea of guilt and atonement as being a part of justice, which it can be. Certainly accountability, reconciliation is a big part of things, but that personal level of like shaming yourself for doing something wrong, there's so huge of a difference between making a mistake and doing something wrong and deliberately causing malicious harm. Maybe feeling a bit of guilt for deliberate harm caused. Yeah, maybe not so bad. But just mistakes, just errors, just behaving, and most of the things that we do are just mistakes, or they're from a good intention, or they're just a little muddled. And so the shame part becomes such an unnecessary baggage to the stage of actual accountability and reconciliation, and then moving forward in a just kind of way. So really trying to focus on, even as we say, this concept of trying to put the blame on yourself and others is going to have to be dealt with over and over again. Otherwise, you're just going to be repeating this cycle, and then your rebirth is just going to be the repetition of the old. So we want to rebirth into a new way of being. And so this card is really saying that you've got that opportunity, and you have it on a grand scale, sure, to have this big kind of day of reckoning, of judgment, or whatever it is, but mostly really this happens on a daily level in a little way. You don't just turn over a new leaf. And yes, it's kind of funny this showing up in January, where often there is this desire of, I'm just going to get it all right now. I'm going to my old life. I'm going to start again. This resolution, there's decadence before, and now I'm going to be good at it. And it's this whole absolute change in expectation that we know rarely really lasts. Because instead of saying, I'm just going to have gradual change. Every day I'm going to get up, I'm going to try and do a little bit better. Every day I've got a new chance, and I can just, today I can do what I can do. And it allows every day to be a rebirth, instead of this like once reset a year where all the pressure's on it and then we just kind of give up. So this, it has the sense of our judgment day, but really actually it's very mundane. It's very simple. It's very, very continuous, with a very that kind of daily renewal. So that's the card. This first 2/3 of the month is Capricorn season, and Capricorn it's kind of interesting. It kind of fits a little bit with this whole justice and judgment, because Capricorn is very much about integrity and what is good for the community in the long term. So multiple generations to come. So justice has to be a part of that, because that is what is going to bear fruit that is good for all of us in the long term. So bringing this concept in of justice as part of your kind of new year thinking, or this Capricorn season, is Capricorn's really building foundation. And so maybe for you right now, you're looking at really making sure that the foundation of justice is really strong for you, seeing if there's any cracks that might be guilt or shaming or blaming, and that's actually something that we need to fix before we move on to the year and kind of building on top of this. Then at the end of the month, we are into Aquarius season. And Aquarius, it's another air sign for you, Libra. And so Aquarius is a great pairing with Libra in lots of ways, because of one of the cardinal values and virtues of Libra is justice. And one of the cardinal values and virtues of Aquarius is freedom. And so freedom and justice they certainly play hand in hand. And so towards the end of the month, we're really going to be thinking about what is holding us back, what is holding us tight in a box where we really want to be freed from, in order to kind of go into new places. And that's really excellent. But freedom divorced from justice is often just looks like privilege. So if we're not looking at things from a foundation where we are all benefiting, it's all about what is just and good for all of us, then that Aquarian urge to break free can sometimes just look like, well, whoever's got the power gets to get out, and everybody else, sorry, you're kind of stuck there. So when Aquarius is in its higher element and they connect that freedom to justice, it's about how can I escape from the strictures that might bind me, and once I have done that, I have learned how, and now I can turn back to other people, those who might have a little bit less privilege or fortune than me, and aid them in their own freedom. And so that's one of the things where Aquarius can to go up and out, but really does also need to and want to turn back to the community and make sure that we all can kind of get rescued together. So that's going to be one of the things that's going to be kind of thematic for you. So a lot of this, because this is a major arcana, and these are pretty big themes, major arcana tends to be a kind of a longer sweeping story arc. It's not just like, yeah, this will be done in a month. So likely this may actually be a year theme for you. So this might be how it manifests in the Capricorn Aquarius season, but it's not necessarily going to be like one and done and feel like you have to have solved all the injustices of the world by the end of the month. Don't feel like that. So this is just something that you can sit with as an undertone and as part of, again, that foundation that you'll be building, the foundation then which you will build the rest of this year on. So that's what's up for you, Libra. The Capricorn Pay What You Can season forecast is up and available on the YouTube channel. It has more information on the transits that are happening, including a few relevant retrogrades. So do check that out for extra support. Appreciate all the donations. And that's it for January for you, Libra. Best of luck, and I'll see you next month.